So this week, I'm making a city in my stealth game. And also fighting with my own freaking ADHD brain over whether I should make a large level or something small. I feel like my ADHD is like a little kid that doesn't realize how long it can take to build something and wants to make a big ass giant city like in Grand Theft Auto. And another part of me is like, yo, slow the fuck down. I want to get the first chapter of my game done eventually, and I don't need a big open world for the story I'm telling. So thankfully, I made a compromise with my ADHD here, that I'll slowly make a smaller open world level for now, and then next time I make another open world, I'll make it 2 times bigger, and it'll just go on every time I'm working on like a big open world level, you know. The ADHD part of me has accepted this for now, freeing me from overthinking about it for like a month. So, you know, that's great. Yeah, having ADHD is like having an internal battle for your own fucking brain over literally every choice you'll ever make in life. It's fun. I really like it. It's fucking fantastic. Anyways. Making a city is definitely the most overwhelming part of the game, and I'm not perfect at planning out these city levels, but I've started to slowly figure out my process more. I usually start with writing the script and thinking what the area will look like. Right now it's in a small district in my level that's currently locked down due to some terrorists being hunted down. So I like to think of the theme of the level and how I would like to have the player interact with that level. In this city, which is the simulation district of Ecto City, everyone is pretty stressed by the situation and being interrogated by the police bots, so I'll usually write out the areas that'll be triggered when the player walks by them. Whether the cops are being nutsacks or the civilians are talking back, and then I'll work on the side quests and where I'd like them to take place. Like here, your goal is to find these terrorists, so you're going around asking people about the terrorists. Some will send you on quests that get you closer to their whereabouts. I also really deeply admire the Deus Ex games, where there's a lot of paths you can take when it comes to missions and how to complete them. So I've been trying to make it so there are certain ways to complete missions, and if you help certain characters, they may help you in a later level. In fact, one of the characters here may actually open a possible ending you could choose later, but that's not a sure thing yet, so this might age kind of badly because my ADHD might completely forget this at one point, and I'm like, oh hey, I kind of wanted to put that in the game, but I forgot about it because that's my brain. Anywho, after I got the script done, once I revise it for the 1,000th fucking time, I usually try to make a map of the overall area. I find that when I get stuck on how I want this to look, it kind of helps to just pull up Google Maps and then just look at a map of a large city, and which gives me ideas on how I'd like the layout to look like. And then I'll work on it in 3D, and most of the times I usually change the layout a bit more here. I tend to look at references to real buildings to give me some ideas to work with. At the moment, the city is pretty bare bones, but it's getting somewhere slowly. I'm starting to think up how Ecto City will be like in the game. Just adding normal stuff, you know, like a giant artificial sun and moonlight, a giant 3D printed monster that builds cities. Oh yeah, also the city is in another dimension, and the only way to go into the city is through a giant dimensional teleporter. So after I work on the city and do at least 5 billion more revisions, I usually work on the interactive stuff, like the books and computers you can look through. I know most players are gonna ignore these. Hell, sometimes even I do most of the time. But I don't really make stuff like this for most players. I make it more for that very small percentage of people that want to know more lore about the game. Right now I'm thinking up some interactables for the Time Traveler Cafe. And since the theme is 2025, its theme is gonna be hell. I mean, it's gonna be about very great and not terrible things. I hope this line ages terribly and things actually go well in 2025. But yeah, I'm thinking of taking old books that I wrote and never finished and have it so you can actually just read the entire story somewhere in the level I made. So if you ever want to see my old fucked up stories, you might want to check out my game once I release it into beta sometime next year, I hope. After I work on the interactive stuff, I usually add NPCs and stuff. I'm still figuring out the best way to plan out the city, but I'm finding that as much as I'd love to make some giant open world, the smaller and more lived in the level, the better for me and my sanity. Plus, I want the world to feel more immersive and lived in. Not generic like a lot of big open worlds that have very little in it. But yeah, that's the basic way I do things so far. It still needs a lot of work before I feel like I have an actual good process for my levels. If you're a game dev, I'd love to know how you plan out city levels or levels in general. It would help me a lot, as I'm aware there's a lot I still have to learn. So yeah, like and subscribe. Oh yeah, and check out my music if you like the noises you're hearing. I'll have a link in my comment below. So yeah, bye.